attempting to race here tonight. And it's crazy to say, but it is going to be seen Drew Chua, who finds that top speed, taking the pole here tonight. Again, a little bit of mix-up on the number on our ticker to what he'll have on track. But the 77 of Drew Chua, who will have the on track, takes our pole award. Last season's champion, John Forbes Jr., will start to his outside of the number one. Ryan Kelly led the most laps here last season. He'll start in third for the Green Machine. Thomas Green, start with a new team, will start in fourth. But Junior is already in fifth. 6 we find Ross Speed, Larry Yingling in 7th. 8 is Cole Sacchetti. 9th we find Douglas Newbigging, and finishing out our top 10, it's 81.
Can't wait to crash.
Back up 6, starting at 11 will be Ken Campbell on the inside, with Nick Crawford to his outside. The number 35, Pete Tarby starting the inside on the 13, and Gavin Rogers outside row 7 and 14th. Brian Noel will be starting 15th with Andrew Medlin on his outside of the number 12, starting 16th. Zachary Hall backed into the number 32 will be starting 17th, and Vincent Sora, the number 51,
24th, because the top 40 cars or whatever are within 100th of a second, 200th or something like that.
Great to see Kyle Rochelle back out on track. At 21st, we find the 17 of Chris Stitz with Ryan Bird in 49 in 22nd position. Jared Talmadge going to start back in 23rd position. 24th, we find the 8 Brian McCann with Ryan Ferraro in 25th. One of the rookies showing up here tonight in the 22, it's going to be Colby.
It's not showing the right numbers up top.
26th, with another rookie down in 27th of Colin Carroll.
Must be warm-up numbers.
We find the 9 of Shane Terrian with returning driver in the 2 of Brad Delp. Finishing out our top 30, we find the 13 of Cedric Hunter.
Waiting on the final car to grid. Everyone's gridded.
Really far back start for him. He was on 31st position with Joshua Canada on his outside.
.214 was the pole.
Reed, last season open winner.
I turned a 259.
With Manazzi Major starting in 34th on his outside.
You got to go all the way back to 35th to see a 0.3.
Mark Morales will be starting 37th, and Christopher Wade at 38th. Nico Garcia, newcomer, coming in, starting 39th, and Christopher Norris will be starting outside at position 40. And the last 3 drivers, Samuel S. Garcia starting 41st, and Tyler Dingler in 42nd, with Joshua Corner in 43rd in the number 2 machine.
43 drivers
tonight.
One of the drivers I was hoping to race here tonight, not able to. Ollie Fonseca,
Alright, man, we're going green next time.
Alright,
man, line up on the outside road now.
Collected
lap
last season.
30.
24 that was hoping to start off and help his friend Cody Reed go back-to-back on season opener races. Suspended for 1 race. We'll see Ollie out on track
if a caution comes out after lap 35,
so we could be seeing
Ollie got suspended.
Some knockout qualifying next week.
Rockingham should be a
fun one, but tonight it's Atlanta. It's super speedway racing. It's going to be a lot to stay attached with one another, but you're also going to be wanting to make sure you're not running on top of each other. It's going to be a hard thing to keep on, but some of these drivers, they know how to keep it clean and green. The most cautions we've ever had was 6 here at Atlanta Motor Speedway in the super speedway configuration back in season 8 and last season. They know how to keep it clean and green. See if they can get it done here tonight. Drew Chua, John Force Jr. going to be your top 2. Both drivers making it to the final 6 last season. They hope to continue on with that trend, as we're going to be seeing that 88 on the inside. It'll be the 77 on our ticker. Drew Chua enters the restart zone. And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Season 11, as we are racing the WSSR Race Cup Series. Race 1 underway as we roll.
Somebody missed a shift.
Here we go, Richard. It's the start of a new season.
Big chaos has begun as the drivers are full speed into turn 1 and 2. Nose to tail still too wide. A little bit of a gap later back in the group. But this is the time that you've got to decide what your strategy is. Are you going to try to move your way up the road? Are you going to hang back and save your car for the end of the race? As we see John Ford getting a little bit of a push, trying to take the lead lap 1 as they come around. Who's going to cross the line? It will be John Forbes, last season's champion, taking lap 1 here in season 11.
He ended last season on top, and he'll start the season on top as well, having his teammate in the 31 of Thomas Green leading the charge on the outside. That freaky fast broadcasting 31. It's excited to see how well he's running so far, but seeing teammate help automatically right off the rip. It's going to be so important overall on this field, going back and forth. And Richard, having a friend and an ally going is proving well for the 1 and 31 as they're already in control. Bobbing and weaving, it's complete control up front as it's side-by-side, fourth on back.
Looks like it's 3 cars that are really working together that have taken complete control. John Forbes, Thomas Green, and well, they can get that momentum, pull themselves out in front of the field. We'll see how well they can do to maintain that gap. But they've got 2 more drivers that are following suit with them, keeping in single file. The cars in the straight line a lot faster, close to wide, but they're trying to find a little bit up there, trying to make moves, just get a little loose, but Las Vegas moving to the outside, maybe trying to put a block, but not able to do it. They'll fall right back in line to come out of it.
Back in line and now leading the outside group was Steven Stimpy. Now starting to see a lot more bobbing and weaving and a big move for the lead as Ross Tatum into the 21. Huge lunge to the inside, not able to fully clear. The loose touch to that chance to take the top spot and lead that lap. John Forbes continues the lead up front, but we were seeing a daring move by Ross Tatum. It looked good for a second, but ultimately backfires from leading for a moment, now outside of the top 5.
That's where you need friend. Ross Tatum did a great move to get out in front, but did not have a friend or a partner to go with him underneath to give him the push. The outside lane had that momentum. They had the push. They had the help. And Ross Tatum falls way back into the 6th position now. And not really leading anymore. So a good attempt by him to take the lead, but in the end, without help, not a good push for 29.
Just seeing how quickly Atlanta's dynamic can change. You went from 5 drivers just dominating ahead of everybody to now side by side for the top spot on back. As now true Jewel John Forbes Jr. going to be side by side for the lead positions, and already seeing a lot of big movements in the middle of the pack as drivers are seeing these massive shuffles going back and forth. But it's the side drafting that I'm seeing right now, Richard, that's really impacting the drivers in the middle of the pack.
Side drafting in these cars is heavy. It's really strong. Side drafting is basically where you take the air, you get close to the rear quarter panel of the car in front of you or to your side, and it pushes air onto their rear spoiler, which basically, when you watch it, it literally makes that car just stall. It pulls that car backward and lets you move forward. So a lot of these drivers are going to utilize that side draft technique to pull a car back to be able to either get in front of them or complete a pass.
As drivers continue to go back and forth, looking at the middle of the field, there's a couple of drivers that have already moved up big positions. Christopher Norris back in 28th spot is one of our biggest movers up 12 positions. Everyone else mired in the middle has gone up 3 or 4 spots or has gone down 3 or 4 spots. It's just a survival game at this point. Again, we do have a stage break to the end of lap 30, and that's why we're seeing a lot of big movements happening here in the early goings. Tire wear will become a factor, and for some drivers, it's make the big moves early and then try to salvage your position later on in the run. But Richard, with it being only the top 10 drivers getting bonus points at the end of the stage, if you're further on back, you have to make the moves now.
And that's if the strategy is you want to get up there and get points. I mean, if you're back in the pack, I mean, if you're 30th back, it's kind of just to sit there, ride, and hope something happens that you get through to have a chance. Right now, it's just save your car. Because in order to get more points at this stage, you have to be at the end, there at the end of the race. And if you wreck your car, you won't be at the end of the end of the race. So it's a lot better sometimes. Don't hit me. Kind of sit in the back, play it easy, and wait for the moves to be able to be safe before you start moving forward. But some of these guys,
big checkup happening in front of me. He's
back to 20th. If possible, they want that aggression. They want to move forward.
That could have been a lot worse.
So it's interesting to see what the strategies will be later in this run as we're 10 laps in.
10 laps standing up front, swapping back and forth inside of the top 10. Some of the bigger movers. Gavin Rogers, who's one of the better qualifiers that we've seen these last few seasons since he's emerged into the WSSR. He currently is just cracked inside of the top 10, up 5 positions where he started. As well, going to be Nick Crawford up 4 positions from where he started. Both drivers ripping the top and finding some big moves overall. Also, you see in the rocking the 29 number, that's Will Sicchetti. We see Sicchetti and a few other drivers from the Storm Motorsports team that we've covered some of their leagues in the past. They had a great season there, so all Europe that's broadcasting in the past.
I want to get them up on that bottom lane.
Water of WSSR, much more difficult series. than most out there in the sim. And it's great to see drivers try and find early success, or at least try to test water and see where their success could be. As up front, it is still John Ford Jr. leading the points. On the inside through. See a little bit of those swaps back and forth as Pulsicati wants to lead a lap, but needs a little bit more help on the inside if it's going to be able to do so. Look at the field right now, Richard. Seeing a lot more bobbles happen.
There's always the middle.
15 laps in, and up front, all these wiggles, you can be nervous for the drivers further in the back.
Yeah, the biggest difference between Atlanta Super Speedway versus that of like Talladega or Daytona is tire wear.
Oh, you run on a single?
Because the longer these tires wear out, they're going to have to actually start letting up at these turns, or these cars get really tight. They push up the track and run into the guys on the outside lane. So taking care of your tires is also a big factor when it comes to this. You got to do everything you can. You don't want to be bobbing and weaving all the time. You don't want to be jerking the wheel really hard. You want to be able to keep those tires cool and happy, so you don't have to let up as much. But eventually, you'll have to let up those turns. But this bobbing and weaving, it's a recipe for disaster. But they're doing a good job staying off each other. So great work by all the drivers, and some of the strategies that we're playing out. One of the largest leaders in the field right now is Christopher Norris, up 17 positions from his starting position. So Christopher Norris looking to move up through the field to try and make a chance for those state points.
And their best move up through the field to try to find allies in the middle of this. That's the big thing a lot of these drivers are searching for as top on board 38 machine. And he's ripping the top. It's in the moving position. Drivers trying to find an opening, drop down low, and try to pick and choose which lane's going to move forward at its best potential, and just move a ladder your way forward. 38 on the outside, you can see as we're riding on board, just the amount of drivers ahead of you, behind you in his mirror. You're kind of stuck as he's basically dead center in this field currently. I mean, Richard, this is a fun place to be if you know that you can work your way forward through this field, but also a nerve-wracking place because you're on the outside and there's no exit plan if there's a wreck in front of you.
Yeah, I think you and I have a different definition of fun. Being in the middle field is not somewhere I like to be, especially on the outside of the speedway. But Christopher Norris, it seems that he's doing a really good job moving his way up through the field, passing the cars as they come around. So good work from Norris. These drivers, I mean, seriously, they are doing a fantastic job. They're a little bit three wide back there also. So there is some three wide moves happening. Ford got to go machine. It's like he's on the outside, kind of stuck out the middle.
Yeah, that is going to be seen a rookie of Colin Carroll trying to find a space for themselves. And up front, we're going to be going three wide. That's Drew Jua stuck in the middle, and he's going backwards. What we like to call the sucker hole. Not finding a lot of friends and allies, but likely we'll find one. That's going to be the 00 Brian Noel from the Lucky Ducks Motorsports team. But trouble further on back, it just stacks up, and a big wreck on the front stretch for the drivers 30th on back.
Caution comes out. That is not what you want to see, but that is it. About the middle of the field is where the accident started. So unfortunate to see, early accident. Now put lap 19, 10 laps to go to the end of the stage. They're so close to getting that
Hey, Sam, do I have a rear bump?
Cody Reed looked to be one of those drivers, spun around, and it might have been trouble further even ahead of him. As looks like trouble in the middle of this group. You can see drivers dashing inside, going up and down. This is after the fact it's going to happen in front of them. They are 4 wide. Looks like some netcode bouncing also for the 25. But when you're 4 wide here in Atlanta,
when Drew got stuck in the middle by himself, the outside line just went on the top.
Bobbing, and that just chain reaction, kind of an accordion effect of trouble ahead of these drivers, just makes it so much more dynamically worse further on back. And 4 wide, bouncing around, multiple drivers caught up in that wreck.
And that was some heads-up driving by Josh Okada also. He got shuffled down to the apron, knew they were, 3 and 4 wide, and he just stayed on the apron. He gave the drivers, some space up on the track to be able to sort it out. So heads-up driving from him, because it also kept him out of the wreck as well. But quite a few cars involved in this. Hopefully no meatball damage from any of them. They can get back out on track after getting some damage repaired and still have a chance for the end of the race.
You can see further on back that the heavy damage getting ran over. Is seeing Ben running in, getting into the 4, and Just drivers sliding all around. Yeah, I can confirm no one had a required damage flag, like we like to call a meatball flag. It's a black flag with an orange circle. If it's given to a driver, they have to go into pit road and get damage repaired. And sometimes that damage they have to get repaired cannot get fixed, and their race is done early. We got a lot of drivers that had to go into pit road, starting from 34th on back. Going to be led by Justin Malarkey, also rookie in the 22 of Colby DiCarlo, as well as
they're going to take 2 tires.
Kyle Rochelle, Zach Hall, Tyler Dangler, Ben Keeney, as well as Ryan Ferraro, the 4 of Colin Carroll, and Nico Garcia, all into pit road. You can see that heavy damage on the outside with Nico Garcia.
All right.
Nowhere to really go, nor for Tyler Dangler, as Cody Reed, our winner of this opener race last season, involved with our first caution of the day, and this sets it up perfectly, Richard. It's going to be a mad dash.
Feels good so far, but we're only 18 in.
Stage break at the end of lap 30. This is the win. Some drivers might risk it all. Do you want to throw your race away for a little bit of extra bonus points, or are you willing to salvage for the end of this race?
Yeah, I think throwing your car away for some bonus points probably isn't the right route to go, but a lot of these drivers, that's what they care about. They like that number. They like that extra advantage for the rest of the championship run. So, I mean, they're going to have just a handful of laps before the end of this stage. So we're going to see a lot of aggression. It's probably between that top 15 set of drivers, to be honest. And who's going to want to get up there and try to race for that first and 10 extra bonus points for finishing there. So we'll see. I mean, it's going to be a wild, about 8 laps of racing for the final for this stage.
It certainly will be. Well, I know Steve Stimpian, father of Steven Stimpian, out in chat's excited to see this. Steven up front, this 81 is probably known for being an excellent super speedway driver, and I'm expecting up front at the time of the caution, and he'll be the control vehicle with the lo-fi machine, the latte lo-fi machine of Nick Crawford to the outside, hoping to go for a surge forward. Car number 2, Gavin Rogers, and also going to be Aiden Medlin as well as Crawford, all up 10 positions from where they started. Stimpian up 9, so big movers have taken success. We'll see if they can keep the success as we are about to enter the restart zone. Stage break at the end of lap 30. Who will be inside of the top 10? Let's find out. It's green flags out of the air. Huge on for front 2. Everyone else kind of backing off. And here we go for the surge. Who can find the big push to catch up to our top 2?
Yeah, huge line.
Who is slow?
In the rows, and they line up instantly before getting to turn 1. The gap line up right behind them also to try to keep up. Maybe get moved to the outside. No, going to block it. We got a 4-car break right now on that outside lane. Gavin Rogers looking low, forms up into the wall. But Gavin Rogers got a good run. He's going to try to make a pass for second.
Trying to make all the passes that they can. Steven Stimpian is going to be affiliated partnering up with the Snowy Desert Racing crew, and they are already 2-3 wide, battling just outside of the top 10 and into the top 10. Drivers are trying to find their footing to push forward, and John Forbes once again wants to be leading a lane. He'll take the inside row. Steven Stimpian hoping to have some help with his ally.
Somebody was running about 80% throttle in this upper lane.
Sora no longer wants to wait. The 51 pushing Andrew Medlin to no man's land on the outside.
Shuffling out of the draft.
Boy, they're going to wreck.
Wide of us place, but Medlin gets into the wall. Ventusora through the middle.
They are going to wreck. I want out of this.
Through the middle lane there and challenge for the lead. Gavin Rogers on the inside.
And it's a mad dash. It's 7 laps to go, soon to be 6, and everyone's trying to follow the middle lane that's moving forward. That's not a usual place to see, but when you have teammates in line, they'll make magic work, and that's John Forbes Jr. and Vincent Sora from Nightmare Fuel. They go cruising forward to the point, and it is 3-4 wide. How are they going to hold on to this one? It's Drew Jewell trying to hold steady. Nick Crawford as well. They're bouncing up and down. Medlin in the wall, trying to hold steady. Pete Tart on the inside. They're stacked 5 wide. They're bouncing and banging. And there's what we were waiting for. In turn 3, and they're all popping in. It's just a cloud of smoke, and it's ricochet everywhere. The big one. 125.
I caught it and got out of it just in time.
We're expecting some meatball flags after that one.
There's definitely going to be some meatball flags after that wreck. Some big one strikes Atlanta 25 laps into this.
Are you upset at me? I didn't want to be 4 wide.
From 4 wide racing, which is something you don't
I had
want
someone
to
on my
do
back
in Atlanta.
bumper
It is too
and
narrow
2 people to the right
for
and 1 on the
4
bottom.
cars
What do you want me to
keep
do?
it straight and clean, even on the straightaway.
And what's crazy enough is this whole entire situation over
the
I can't do it. I got to stay out.
4 wide. The drivers over the radio were
We're gonna have
screaming,
fuel.
we're 4 wide, we're 4
Doing
wide,
good,
we're
Harry.
4 wide.
How are you?
And it didn't matter. There just wasn't enough spacing. They ping-ponged off one another. And the big one.
Since they're going to throw it again here, I got to stay out.
Cloud of smoke. Drivers just no regard to the brakes. Power shell flipping over and oh, the big one. It is always a nasty sight to see.
Yeah, it looked like the 41 machine of Rochelle, just no brakes, it seemed like, just drove through the field and ended up flipping his car over. But man, when you see that much smoke and that many cars in front of you, you don't stay on the gas.
Look at that. Look at,
You just
wow.
want to get off the gas, get on the brakes, save your car, save other people's cars as well.
They got the smoke turned up on that replay, don't they?
Just a track blocker. There he comes in. Right off the nose also of Christopher Norris.
That is a wreck.
That's a lot of fast drivers.
And I was right in the middle of it. Didn't get touched. That's amazing.
An incredible amount of damage just accrued as everyone from about 14th on back.
I think I was the luckiest car there.
And just trying to look through and see if anyone got through this wreck cleanly. And just there were multiple drivers. 41 wasn't the only one. But he thought he was Lightning McQueen there and could just slice and dice through the smoke. Not the case. Flipping over, rolling on his top.
All right, I will be.
And I'm looking at it, Richard. I'm not seeing any official from iRacing side. Meatball flags given out, which is a huge shock. That is impressive. I think it helps that the speeds that we're going, we're not going those over 190 miles per hour into that corner. Everyone was kind of.
I mean, it would be nice to get playoff points at 30, but I don't want to damage my car in the first race. That's why I was trying to get out of that mess.
Still have to go to pit road, get some type of damage repair. Starting off from 22nd position on back. All had to get some type of repairs. That is a massive wreck. And you have over half the field getting damage. I mean, it's nice to know that you're the one who didn't have to go in and check to see what scrapes and bumps you grabbed.
Yeah, that is impressive that there was no required damage flags for that field, because there was some heavy hits on the outside wall on other cars. You had Rochelle flying through the field there. I mean, that is impressive.
Now they're going to stack them up and do it again.
You're good, baby girl.
I guarantee you that still some of those drivers have got a couple of minutes of damage that they should be getting repaired, because the aero is a big thing in super speedways. If you do not have a clean-looking car, you're going to slow down.
You know they're going to.
Because I mean, just unless
you know they're going to
drag on that car to keep going fast.
Yeah, and some drivers even
go for it again here.
You do, but
they ain't finished yet.
Joshua Corner, who we saw in the thick of all that damage. I mean, it's wild. And sometimes you luck out even with being involved in taking big hits, and others they don't. As we are getting ourselves stacked up and ready to go back to green.
Anyone who's
racing
behind me, I might have front end damage, but who knows what my launch will be.
Couple years here.
Launch.
Line, I'm going to go high.
The help as well as other drivers that are tacked up.
I just do it for fun though. I'm not serious about it.
Second car on the outside, that's going to be Brian P. Johnson. You got Brad Kelly, second car on the inside. He led the most laps here last season. Can he get back up front in that controlling position?
Okay, first gear does help. I didn't think it was that big.
He is back out in the air, and it's the one of John Force's major launch for himself. Where are the friends and allies for yourself right now? And they close pit road. Richard, that's a
so we got this lap and one more lap.
To the end of lap 30 for these stage bonus points.
And I'm staying on the bottom.
Hey, Drew, I got damage, so I'll stay higher for the round.
Guys, they crossed for lap 29. So they're going to cut around. It's going to be one lap to go after they complete this lap before the end of the stage. And this is going to be even more of a mad dash as Vincent Sora goes high with the number 7 Newbigin, but Newbigin shoots him out and goes low. He's going to move into the third position and try to chase down first and second to try and win the stage.
You've got 4 different dynamic teams all in a line. You've got John Forbes from Nightmare Fuel. You've got
bottom lane is weak.
Kelly, you got Lucky Ducks of Douglas Newpicking and Snowy Desert Racing of Cedric Hunter. But the top 4, will they stay the top 4 as it looks like 5th on back? Still trying to build the momentum. It's all John Forbes, Ryan Kelly, Douglas Newpicking. Who's willing to make the dash to the outside? Douglas does. Cedric says no. They'll stay side by side for 3rd, and John Forbes Jr. will be your state winner. the line. What a run, and yellow flag fly.
Leads the first lap and wins stage 1. Season 10th champion is looking strong in his first 30 laps of racing. He's left on top, and he's starting stronger and maintaining on top to start this season off. A great run for John Forbes in that stage.
I mean, John has always done this, even on Monday nights, breaking.
Oh, Ron Kelly got second, so that's pretty good.
He just proves that he's just.
Me and Larry got hung out in the back here.
What stats say or what some bad luck might call for you. He's going to be up front and one of your favorites to watch out for. Other drivers getting stage bonus points. Going to be John Forbes winning. Ryan Kelly's going to get 9 stage bonus points with Douglas Newbigin getting 8. Other drivers continues to knock down by 1 point. Cedric Hunter will come away in 4th. 5th was Vincent Sora. 6th goes to Gavin Rogers. 8th goes to the rookie of Pete Tart, with Brian B. Johnson going to be taking 8th position. 9th goes to Cole Sketty, and 10th.
Pit lane closed.
Tatum. Congratulations to our stage winner of John Forbes Jr.
Pit lane is still closed.
After pit road stops are completed. But I got to say, Richard, 30 laps in, we've had a couple of big wrecks. That last one obviously was the big one. But the rest of the field, I mean, they're still all running and puttering along. This race isn't over just yet.
Oh, no, definitely not over. I mean, it's impressive that a lot of those drivers didn't get damaged. So, great. I mean, interesting coding, I guess you could say, from my racing side, because there's definitely a lot of hard hits that shouldn't cause damage. That is a breath of fresh air for all those drivers involved, because their race ain't over, and they still can have a chance to come back and win this race.
Yeah. Let the 19 car by.
Okay, when they're gonna pit.
So some people got to pit there.
A pit road entry being closed.
Yeah, we're on
was not open
front
back
stretch when
up.
it was open. I closed
So
like within 2 seconds.
Because they're in the back. They get to go to the front now.
For themselves. We'll wait and see when the field.
If you send the caution now, it'll open up a bit.
But Richard, it's crazy to see the season has started. It's John Forbes Jr. continuing with his great runs. I think one driver, I'm proud of the fact that he worked his way forward. One of our biggest movers right now, Cedric Hunter. I know he's disappointed on the fact that he wasn't able to take that championship last season. Up 26 spots from where he started tonight's race in 30th. He currently is our he is our Whiplash SimCam's biggest mover of the day currently as the stage concludes. Get to see the new pit entry. They have to go in on the entry of turn 3. It looks like under pacing, and that is a different change. I think that's what kind of threw off the field when they were trying to make these pit stops under yellow.
That could be also. This is a very recent change in iRacing. This is a change that recently happened, I do believe, last year for the Atlanta Super Speedway, where NASCAR decided to change the pit entry to the backstretch just because of the speeds that they're running now. Whereas iRacing did not update that when NASCAR did. But I believe this most recent update is what changed that. I have not been to the track, but yeah, it looks like the pit entry has been changed to the backstretch going into turn 3, which is great to see.
Great to see for some. It helps others. The drivers were able to pit before our leaders were, and that's going to cycle through and push John Forbes and others further down the leaderboard. Forbes is going to be 10th as he leaves pit road, and that is not where he would like to be. Excuse me, going to be 9th as he exits pit road. Everyone else already made their pit stops. That's Joshua Kanata. It's going to be Carroll in the 4, Tarian. DeCarlo, as well as going to be Morales, Del,
27th because of an iRacing bug.
Drivers rewarded with a little bit of mix-up under these yellow flag pit stops. As we're going to see if we can pull down and talk to our Nightmare Fuel stage winner. That will be the one machine of John Forbes. It's weird to say he's been 11 for all that we know. But here tonight and for season 11, he will be known for the number 1. We've got John Forbes with us. John, congratulations on the stage win. How are you feeling after those first 30 laps?
Yeah, it was pretty hectic out there. I had to make a couple blocks and stuff. Got loose a few times. This thing on the bottom, for whatever reason, I was getting loose, having to control that thing a few times. So I definitely want to try to keep it up towards the wall. And then Vinny got to my rear bumper right before the end of the stage.
Change them and then change them again.
Alright, man, we're going green next time by.
So I went down to the bottom to try to control the lanes, and I saw there was no one behind me.
My left front was 95.
So yeah, it sucked that that happened. We could have had a 1-2 in the stage there, but
I'll pit once for fuel and then I'll pit the next lap for tires. Actually, I'll pit one lap
1 lap per tire.
Fantastic start to your season already, being on top, coming out of season 10 and starting out on top here. I mean, this is shaping up to be a strong season already. I mean, it's still too early to tell. It is race 1. But, how do you feel, coming in first from the stage and now you're back in 10?
I got on just my left side
so
down in 3 and 4.
the people in the back
We're rolling.
leapfrogged everybody and are now in the
If
top
we get
10.
some duct tape and put both of our cars
So
together,
10
it
went
might
from
be
the
fast.
back to the front.
Couldn't get a win the next season. I'm just trying to reverse that narrative and try to get a good season here and get as many
So is that going to cause a wreck?
wins for the car number.
I originally had 1
Good
minute
luck on trying
44,
to
but I
break
got
the
it all
curse.
fixed. So we'll see.
Congratulations on the stage win, John, and we'll send you back to your team. Hopefully we talk to you at the end of the night.
Thank you. Looking forward to it.
That's going to be your Nightmare Fuel number 1 of John Forbes. He'll be starting all the way back in 9th position for this restart. Joshua Kanata did it under 15 laps ago under our second caution. He is now going to be your lead driver. Colin Carroll, who we saw getting bounced around during that big one on the front stretch, he's going to be starting on the outside. A lot of newcomers and different drivers going to be up front. It's the rookies. Going to be 1-2 on the outside groove. But it's Joshua Kanata, 16 on the inside. How well can he take off and go as the back?
Bottom lane didn't go. That's all.
Take
They're
off
stacking
in
up.
the restart zone. We are back to green flag racing. There's no more stage racing. It's all about the win. And Kanata bounces high. And it's everyone instead of that top 8. They're starting to space out. Top 6 look good. For Richard is sitting out of 2. It's everyone from 10 on back that I'm worried about what big moves are willing to make.
Right now, though, it's a long race. 15 laps to go. It is not really a time to make some major moves.
Yeah,
though.
I don't know.
If you make a major move now, it's less major moves you have to do or make later in the race. So we'll see what they decide to do. But we got a pretty big breaker from that.
I don't like that 3 wide up there.
3 wide racing. You think after seeing that many cars side by side with the big one, you wouldn't want to do this, but they're back to doing it. 3 wide racing.
They're 3 wide back here. They're also 3 wide Valley for 5th place currently, and that's where we find Vincent Sora, John Forbes. Joshua Kanata is on the inside, but fading backwards with Mark Morales. Top side could be the 22 of DiCarlo, as well as finding GT Rizzari. They continue to bounce back and forth, and it's a 2-car breakaway currently, a 3-car takeaway, you could say. Shane Terrian, as well as Colin Carroll, trying to pull away from these drivers, staying 3 by 3. Now 3 rows deep, not to be 4 if someone wants to bounce that 3rd lane. And you know what? We saw the big one. We're not calming down from that one just yet. They want to make the big moves, be in the better track position, and the drivers on that 3rd lane get some major help. Now 4th car on the outside, that's Gavin Rogers, who you know can make passes and can get forward quickly. The question is, can he find any spacing to make any moves, because everyone's stalling out of this wall.
I mean, there's still 3
I was going to take the bottom right there, but
early in this run. High and through the roof with this many cars 3 wide right now. But yes, Gavin Rogers on the outside. He's moving back down to the middle lane there. He's going to try to play it safe instead of taking it 3 wide, keeping it up against the wall. And he's just going to try to get around those guys that are on the outside. They're kind of stuck by themselves. All clear.
Yeah, one inside
lane. So Gavin Rogers very aggressive driver, but he's smart about his moves he typically takes. So
down the bottom and green.
hey, Paul, how's it going?
Get around those 2 cars that are kind of stuck against that wall.
And with all that chaos, we're seeing about 15th to 12th on back.
I'm
It is
clear.
back
I'm
to the
like
lead position from 10 to the top spot. John Forbes is back home, leading this race. That one machine basement developing leaps and bounds. It feels like every season. And you could say at one moment last season, he wasn't the heavy favorite to win the championship, but the way that he's been growing.
Okay, now we're single file.
John Forbes might be the heavy favorite.
That 3 wide.
To go around with how aggressive he's willing to be, and if you don't get in his way and stop this one's momentum, he's just gonna walk everyone moving forward. As the top spots all gonna be in line, a little bit of spacing. 17 to 18 spot. This lead pack looks pretty strong as they're all side by side.
Yeah, they finally calmed down. Is playing a little smart here. They're just going to go 2
Thank you, Paul.
instead of the 3 wide racing. So they're just kind of waiting.
We got
to chill out a little bit.
Yeah, hopefully we didn't lose a draft.
Get themselves settled again before they start making moves. But yeah, John Forbes, you know, he has been one to watch his growth here on iRacing and in the WSSR, and like you said, the ISRC. And
I believe in you, Ben. Push him.
To be reckoned with as they're going 3 wide for the lead. John Forbes gets shuffled to the middle as Shane Terrian goes low.
And for John, he's got to find an ally who's willing to push the one, and it looks like he's going to get none of that. As the inside group going to be seeing Harold Terry and the Blue Machines willing to work as one. They weren't on paper as allies or alliances, but they're trying their best to move forward as quickly as they can. As Joshua Kanata, 23 laps he's been out there on track with these Tiger and Pool, and he's still making it work in that lead position. The 16 proving, yes, older tires, you can still hold strong and being up front now in the middle pack. Going to be seeing Justin Malarkey. One big bump pushing Ron Kelly wall. Malarkey still sideways bouncing. GT in the wall. They're going to be stacked up 3, 4 wide. Can they keep it together? They do, as everyone gives space. Huge loss.
Good thing a caution came out. We would have really got split up there.
Caution further on back.
Man, a huge stack of cars getting turned a little bit. They did a good job for the most part keeping it straight, but the caution does come out. This will bring all the drivers back together. Again, there's also time to do repairs, and they still got some left, but a lot of great driving from those drivers there in the top 10, 15 there to not cause a huge wreck.
And it's going to be Nico Garcia.
There was a big wreck earlier that we got real lucky in.
Yellow, some were slowing down, others.
So far, I've been pretty lucky.
71 bounced you around. The big thing of note is it's going to be Brown himself, the 2 of Joshua Corner, who we got the report was involved with the big one, took no damage, might have grabbed a little bit more damage from this spot. As the 2 goes, I-71 backs off. It's a 21 of Ross Tatum that just gets kind of squeezed in the middle. And there goes the 71.
Are y'all staying out?
Hard contact for Major in the 82.
Yeah, I got a flyer.
Passes on by, and we do have reports of GT Rosari required damage as well. The 00 Brian Noel going to be given required damage.
Made a little track position there. I want to be in that top 10.
Fire damage, and that wasn't that heavy of a wreck that we saw for the big one, but fire damage are definitely going to be in the pit lane for a minimum of more than likely 5 to 6 minutes. That is what I've found to be the minimum repair time when you do get that required damage flag. So they're definitely going to go at least 5 or 6 laps down, if not a little bit more. They're going to have a huge amount of
need to be on the lead lap
in this race.
Yeah, I'm curious for the 00 Brian Noel, because
The only reason I'm allowed down is
by
that my pit
himself
crew
when that
for some reason decided to change tires the second time after my damage was done being
I'm
fixed.
assuming it might be something
Never had that one before.
damage-wise, and it looks like actually no, it was just broken toe link.
Yeah, it was open when I went by.
Almost immediately after getting repairs done, so now it's just a lot of optional that he's dealing with. GT, on the other hand, he's going to be in there for a while, as multiple drivers getting some service done from 32nd position on back, getting extra damage repair with Ryan Bird, as well as GT Rosari, Ross Tatum.
I think it opened when I came out of 2.
Seeing Rochelle, Kyle
are we doing on pit
Rochelle
entry
still
here?
running after his flip is impressive to see.
Wait for you.
Christopher Norris also getting repairs done.
Oh, I wouldn't give that up.
Nico Garcia. As well as Brian Noel still in pit road.
All right, man, we're going green next time.
Who's telling me to
Josh
stay line
Bernard is still
yard?
out there
Still telling
on
me to stay line
track,
yard.
and looking at how this field might be trying to
Hey,
react
tell me the whole time
for
what
the
you
final
buy.
stages of
Tell
this
them I reckon
race.
did.
Now, some of the drivers just came in at that stage break, top off on fuel, and it was at lap 32.
I got my teammates in another
We
channel.
were given a number of
But y'all can't
62 to
hear.
67 laps that they could take a full tank.
So I'm not over here talking to myself.
One stop here tonight, the field's looking for.
We were talking about the pit.
Question is,
The pit
when do you want to make that one stop before you're done for the day
opens
on
like right
fuel,
after
at
the
least,
caution
if you're
comes
not on
out,
tires?
and then closes if you pass it on turn 3.
Is usually the main concern at tracks like this.
So really only got the back stretch
Those tires, they
to
roll around, they
decide
won't
if you're going to
slow
pit or
down
not.
Turn. So it could be just a combination of how you want to balance the fuel to tire wear out combination there. So, but I mean, yeah, at this point in time with the fuel load and the fuel that they can do, they are looking at only one more.
Ron Kelly in 5th and Larry Yingling.
So,
I don't know where Larry's at.
Oh,
he's in 9th.
We'll see a lot
That's my
more cars
teammates.
more often, but
Hi.
I don't know. We'll see what the strategy plays. The track position tends to be king in a lot of these situations, and I guarantee if you're in the top 10, you don't want to give that up if you don't have to.
First official DNF of the evening. It's going to be the 14 of GT Irizarry. Looks like he might have been given the too much damage to fix notification. 14 still sits in pit road and yet to leave. Everyone else has got back out on track. We've got 39 drivers on the lead lap 2. 1 lap down. Tyler Dentler is 5 laps down as we are back to green flag racing. As Joshua Kanata, Vincent Sora side by side as they head down into turn number 1. Looks like a clean start for the outside groove as we've seen Terry and Malarkey trying to give the big push to help the 16 get ahead.
Yeah, fantastic push, getting that 16 Kanata up ahead into the lead. Kanata being up there leading, that has got to feel really good. He had a lot of bad luck last season. Hoping to turn that around here and make a statement going into
all clear, all clear. Got one outside.
Round. Also, want to give notice of other drivers have been making some big pressure, big moves throughout this evening. Josh Kanata up 31 spots from where he started. Shane Terrian up 26 positions. Colin Carroll up 23, and Justin Malarkey up 30 spots from where they started. Seeing how that stage caution, taking the track position, it's really helped these drivers equal spots up front. They continue to know that track position could be the factor for this evening races. We're finishing up the first third as lap 50 begins. It's Vincent Sora leading the way. As the rest of the field still trying to find their footing side by side for the most of it as they're 3 wide battling for 18.
That's Drew Drula taking it to the middle lane to try to move up through this field. He was involved in that major wreck when they were 4 wide, so to see him making aggressive moves like this, he's here to race. He's here to win this race. So he's not trying to be light, not trying to take it easy through the middle, but he's
it's still going to be a one-stopper.
He's got to find a way to
really. We're just riding around here.
Himself back on the inside lane. But there's still 3 wide behind him as well.
That's going to be John Forbes, who entered pit road to top off on fuel, as well as Jared Talmadge. They went down to the apron, utilizing that extra space. Now, if you go down there, it's kind of a gentleman's agreement. If you can go down below that red line, but you have to come up safely. If you cause an issue, you will be penalized. That's the 1 and the 27. Continue to just try to find little creative ways to move forward. That's so difficult when you're outside of the top 20 because you want to use all the speed and momentum you build up, but sometimes there's just no space to use that momentum.
That's the biggest problem. It's like space is such a hard thing to come by because you might have momentum, you might want to take it to that middle lane, or you're not going to try to force someone to that middle lane by going to the outside. But if you've got nobody coming in behind you to go to that third lane, you're not going to fall back and but Drew Drula back to the middle lane. He's got help this time from John Forbes. So those two got to work together to try to move back up through the field and get back up to the front where they were running earlier.
Hop on board on the hood of John Forbes in the middle, just trusting that you can picture him.
Somebody's going up the middle.
We know John Forbes can stay and pull the line. It's trusting the competition around you, stay low, stay high, and everyone hits their marks at the scene out of the corner. The middle crews find their best to go forward, and it's all because of these big pushes, the big bumps, the willingness to be aggressive through the center of the corner. Get back
several people going up the middle.
Scott Rogers now wants to be the lead driver in the middle of the group. Take that back. Everyone that was on the top side, they're going up and down and weaving, trying to hold back this 75, 88, and the 1 as they try to go forward.
Hold your line.
Yeah, it is a great work by Cedric Hunter in that outside lane. They're kind of stalling out that middle lane, but further on back, you got Zach Hall, who's trying to decide what lane he wants to go to. That outside.
Everybody's coming out of the middle.
To the inside, they jump back out to the outside. Just Zach Hall's just trying to figure out what lane is going to start moving so he can move back.
They hit the wall up top.
Now he's going to be in the middle lane with those other 4 drivers, and he's going to try to lead these guys up through the field as the outside lane's kind of bumping up into the wall.
Yeah, they're getting into the wall, and I was just about to say, I'm getting a feeling of some slight deja vu. Everyone's sneaking up pretty wide. I think that's going to hurt some.
I'm right where I want to be. I don't want to be middle or top.
Pace, but at least it calms down the field. That puts up one moment, 6 drivers being 3 by 3 by 3, and that's a dangerous row to see if everyone's stacked in line. Because one mistake could cause another big one that's up front. Seeing Colin Carroll, one of our rookies, really proving the fact, hey, I'm a driver to watch out for in this 4 machine. Caught up in earlier wrecks, took a lot of damage, but still having the speed, able to get the damage repaired, and leading right now. battling with Vincent Sora, the two-time champ, doing his best to start the season off, right? Because if we look back to last season, Richard, Vincent Sora probably had one of the worst starts to the season if we've ever seen the 51 have, and he really rebounded to get back into the playoffs, but he wants to carry the momentum of winning last season's Homestead race.
You want down, Larry?
If he didn't have bad luck, he'd have no luck at all. Vincent Sora did not have a very lucky start to the season, but was able to rebound extremely well and enter himself into the playoffs. Very strong for the playoffs also, but he's wanting to come back. He's not wanting to see another bad start to his season. So good to see him up here driving safe and up in front.
Yeah. That's a third one I've missed.
Oh, it's another big one as they pile up on the outside. Back into the field. Another huge collision. Secondary contacts are just making it even worse as they slid across the field.
Turning left.
And oh no, another big one, and it's Malarkey just being tossed around.
Super speedway racing, it ain't about how fast you are, it's about how many wrecks you can dodge.
Gets a little turned off someone's nose, and then everybody behind him just kind of stacks up another big wreck.
I think I want to stay out here.
Looks like just a bad push from Gavin Rogers, who's getting pushed from behind as well. So you can't push the pusher, and a lot of people like doing that. That's kind of what happens when you get
stay out.
And it just ends up a lot of cars.
I'm staying out.
It really does. As we'll see here. They're in line. Malarkey gives a bump to Sora, and then kind of with that bump pushes himself high, and it just, they weren't stacked in line perfectly.
Luckily, I seen that one early. Immediately pulled left.
Just seeing just the hard ricochet contact. Steven Stimpy and Zach Hull, John Forbes all involved.
I think somebody might have got me in the rear, but
that's really impactful. Get into Ben Keeney.
Good thing I did, man. They came all back down the track.
The field's trying their best to bob and weave as more carnage is added.
Yeah, the cars slid up the track, and everyone behind them were just trying to dodge the wreck. They thought they'd stay up there, but the cars, in order for them to stay up the top of the track, they've got to be like against the wall sideways, not with the rear end, because
we got to get to lap about 87 or so
back down with Gavin Rogers and
make it on fuel,
and involved a few other drivers into that wreck.
With that contact, Ross Tatum, Zach Hall, both going to be given required damage flags. They have to go back and get that damage repaired. We hope that it's not terminal damage where their race is done. A couple of drivers added to We're Done. Tyler Dangler, Ryan Ferraro going to be tagging along with GT Rosari on Calling It an Evening. We hope to see those drivers back out on track next week at Rockingham to continue on the start of season 11. It's been a pleasure to give you the call so far. 60 laps in the books, and I think this might be the perfect time for us to step away for our first commercial break of the evening. It's been a blast to give you all the calls here from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Currently, it's the rookie of Colin Carroll going to be leading the charge for the Ford machine with the 3 of Brian Kelly right behind him. We'll be back right after this to give you more WSSR BRS Cup Series action for season 11, race 1. We'll be back right after this to give you more Super Speedway coverage.
Are you talking to me, Gavin?
No, he's on the wrong channel again.
You guys still going to take right side tires or left side tires when you pit? 10-4. Oh yeah, what will that be, like 87? I'm thinking.
Get ready.
Anybody else just seeing here that?
Yeah.
My wheel just gave out. I had to turn it off and on again.
It really disconnected again.
Yeah, I was about to say, because on my end, I heard you like scraping the wall down like SpongeBob Patrick riding on the boat in that one episode, and then you just steered.
We're good. We're good. We're good.
And stop.
All right, man. 8 cars in.
Don't worry, Captain, we'll buff out those scratches.
Green, green, green. Dig it, man. You're in top 10. The leader just did a 39.6 1-5.
I'm gonna stay as low as I can here, guys. Go around.
Stay
I
low.
have
There's
too
a car
much
on the
damage.
high side. Still there. Stay low. You're clear high. Clear high.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. More racing coverage here for the WSSR VRS Cup Series at Atlanta. Race number 1 of season 11 currently underway. We have just completed lap 62.
It appears my damage is slowing me
We're
down.
seeing for the first time a lot of drivers decided let's stay single file. And this is going to be one of those weird positions because we're close. Drivers are marching closer and closer to half.
I'm not sure why he gave up his spot,
zone.
but we'll take it.
You just run your fuel out. You think about pitting sooner than later. The questions of strategy starts to arise for some of these teams and solo drivers. Trust it or not. We're excited to give you all the coverage here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is Richard Wolsifer. As Wolverine Productions is Robert Weir here this evening. And Richard, we've seen a lot of big wrecks, and this is the first time I feel like the drivers have decided, all right, let's calm down for a little bit.
Yeah, I think this is something they should have done a long time ago. This second big wreck. I mean, you thought they learned their lesson, and it didn't happen. So now they finally did. Single file racing is what we're going to see probably for a while until we get closer to either pits or closer to the end of this race. But yeah, these drivers are kind of smartening up a little bit. Just take it easy, take it safe, maybe make some passes when they can, but
do we
go
have
back
to?
Single file. They're getting double file though, further back in the
There
field,
we
so
go.
maybe that won't last as long as we thought it would.
I'm not surprised on who those
Unfortunately,
drivers
yeah.
are. You have Vincent Sora who's trying to side draft his way forward and doing it just on his own. It's not really working, so why not find a friend? That's going to be the teammate from Nightmare Fuel, who is the prior driver to Nightmare Fuel of Jared Talmadge, as well as going to be seen.
Being up front is a whole lot more less stressful.
74 of Nick Crawford.
admin's guys.
Race around one another for multiple different years and seasons. That outside lane's going to get moving forward quickly. Another guy, but every driver leading that outside groove as Brad Delphin, 72, gets pushed to the outside, and they say, no, thank you, we don't want you to be our lead driver. Sora just pushes the 72, and now it's all on its own on that third lane.
Yeah, that's what happens when you're an aggressive driver like Vincent Sora. He just gets to the inside, just barely. Brad Delph forces him up the track, and he's got teammates behind him, so all they had to do is just follow Vincent Sora, and it kind of let Brad Delph out there.
That blue car is everywhere, isn't he?
Joshua Kanata getting pushed so far out. I'm expecting this 51 to just drop it low at some point.
Not the 3, the one in front of that.
Big pass, so I might work with the 16. A lot of different alliance drivers trying to see who are they willing to work with, or do you just hope that the lane you're in, they don't just ditch you?
It appears the top lane has the advantage.
Updates on GT Rosari officially out of this race. Tyler Dangler, as well as Ryan Morrow and Ross Tatum, the newest driver, call it a night. They are officially.
If I can get up there, I'm going to take it.
Sits in pit road. We'll see if that 32 can get back on track and just salvage whatever he can before the season is over. Well, it has stayed calm for long, and it is now side-by-side racing for fourth on back. See the inside road, trying to find a little bit more momentum and hopefulness to get forward. As other drivers, their aggressiveness has been backfiring as other drivers hoping to go forward. That was Drew Jua. He tried, that was Douglas Newbing, and he tried to make some big moves for the 7. He was about to crack inside of the top 15. He'll drop just outside of it. It's 20th. He lingers on the inside row, and then a driver who was caught up in our first wreck of the day, Cody Reed. Richard, his day's not over just yet. He's now on the charge to try to repeat as a Atlanta opening race winner.
Yeah, great recovery from Cody Reed being involved in that massive wreck of the race. So he's just been able to keep his head on his shoulders, get the damage repaired. He's making his move up through the field. And yeah, like you said, he's aiming to maybe pull off another season open win, and that'd be great to see from Cody Reed.
It certainly would, as here's Ryan.
Starting to pull on him a little bit.
It's in and out of racing in the WSSR Cup Series. It's great to see Bird out on track. This 49, each and every season, you know.
Hope they don't start that middle lane again.
There's some seasons where he is competing for top 5s, for wins. There's other seasons where he's just trying to get a good top 15 finish. I'm hoping that this is one of those seasons where we see him challenging up front. Andrew Medlin trying his best to recover to get back to those top positions where one moment he was challenging instead of top 5. And Steven Stippian, one of the favorite drivers, I think, in my opinion, to watch. Whatever
is he going to be able to hold it down there is the question.
This 81,
gonna get another
he will
set
be
of
a
left.
threat at some of the races that we go to, and I'm excited when we go to these intermediate mile-and-a-half courses, some of the smaller tracks, where he's going to really show his talent. That Stippian currently runs in 22nd position, and not if it's our second big one of the day, he's trying to just salvage what he can.
Yeah, Steven Stippian has always been an exciting driver to watch. Great to see him come back to the WSSR, like you're saying. He is really strong in super speedways, but his skill stands out on those intermediate tracks as well. So it'd be great to see what he can do back to the WSSR. As we got a car sliding coming out of turn 2 there. Four.
All right, man, caution is out. Single file.
Stack up and there they go flying, and it's a big one with some of the rookies.
I'm gonna pick this time, I think.
It's gonna be actually the $35 ticker of Pete Tart
spitting this time
around, and just the chain reaction once again. If someone up front checks up or slides, that chain reaction just becomes too massive, and a wreck blossoms in the back.
Yeah, sorry about that.
And the 40 on
no problem, you pitting.
35 on our ticker is the one that goes around.
Yeah, I think honestly that all kind of started when the number 4 got a little loose, caused some checkup between everybody when he tried to come back up on track. That's exactly what happened. A checkup and then the drivers just getting into the rear ends, and just the number 40 or the number 35 just not able to keep his car straight from a big hit right there on his nose. It goes up, involves Douglas Newbigging. More unlucky situation for Douglas Newbigging.
I don't know if you have a mic. Can you pronounce your first name for me?
The big move during our first big one of the day, where Joshua Kanata dropped down to the inside. Teammate of Joshua Kanata, Samuel Garcia, did a very similar move. Saw that they were checking up, went down to the apron, enabled the 50 to avoid that wreck. Other drivers not able to. As Douglas Newbigging in pit road trying to get repairs done. We have gotten the report from Zach Hall in the chat. His race is over. He got the too much damage. We are done notification. Nico Garcia also in pit road with required damage. The 22 of Colby DiCarlo going to be also getting required damage, with Chris Stitz joining in the fray. The 00 of Brian Noel does have a black flag. We're waiting to see if that will be removed or not. Richard, we're starting to really see we just got to halfway, and the dominoes of drivers being eliminated from this race are really starting to show after all these big wrecks.
Yeah, it's a race of attrition sometimes at these super speedways where, you know, sometimes you just have to survive the wrecks, and you can be there at the end fighting for a top 10 or more. So some of these drivers in the back, you might not normally see them up front, but they could make their way up there if these cars cannot keep them straight. They keep falling out little by little, one by one.
As we're seeing the 82 of Major going to be in second place, with Nick Crawford going to be taking the top spot on this restart. Also, Andrew Medlin going to be in third, as Vincent Sora and many of others just going to come into pit road, top off on fuel. Get ready for this restart. Now, this is officially the halfway point of this race. As the field's getting ready for racing action, we want to say thank you to the major sponsors that help out here at the WSSR. New title sponsor, VRS. That is your virtual racing school. Head on over to the virtual racing school to go check out all the variety of ways to help you become a better driver, from seeing live telemetry or ways to evolve your performance, to also getting helpful tips from eNASCAR, Coca-Cola, iRacing Series drivers, getting advantages on how to get out there on track. Well, VRS, their mission is clear: to provide every driver with the tools and knowledge to reach their fullest potential, whether it's on the virtual track or beyond. I want to say thank you to VRS for becoming the title sponsor of the WSSR Cup Series. It is such an awesome sponsor to have for a great league. Also, if you want to get yourself, you just got all the knowledge from VRS, why not find yourself with a professional grade racing rig? Head on over to GTR Simulators today and go check out great products they have for you. Remember to use promo code WSSR at
Saying
checkout
what?
to
I
get
guess we can get around
10%
me.
off purchase of $100 or more at GTRsimulators.com. Don't miss out on your chance to upgrade your rig and race like the pros. Thank you to GTR Simulators and VRS. As the field stacked up, it's time to get back to racing action. It's going to be Sam Minozzi Major, Nick Crawford, side by side with Andrew Medlin, Vincent Sora behind him. Green flag is out, already bumping action on the outside, and it's the 74 with the nose ahead. But Richard, I think these drivers, they got the itch. It's time to go quick again.
Yeah, they're halfway through this race. Now it's, the question is, is it time to start making my moves? Do I want to get up front? Cedric Hunter tried jumping a little bit on that start to get that outside line moving, but Crawford was able to nose ahead. But outside line starting to get some momentum back behind them. Maybe Minozzi Major leading that line. Vincent Sora trying to push Minozzi Major back to the front there. Vincent Sora trying to be aggressive. He wants to be back up front.
Let's see up front. We're starting to see a lot of bouncing all around. That's Jared Talmadge pushed to the center. Vincent Sora said, thank you. I'll take that opportunity to push my teammate forward. It's Ken Campbell, Sly Robin as they're pushing through.
Oh, that blue, white, black truck car, whatever I'm trying to say here.
Side road, it's Major.
He is stuck up top for a while. He's going to the back.
Slicing his way. Saw the nose from Vincent Sora. He plays the same move. Now Andrew Medlin, the 12, goes backwards.
You get hung out like that, you're done.
The drivers, they are in a nightmare to have if they're behind you.
They are doing fantastic work.
I'm going to get hung out in the middle.
It's like they're one and the same person. Talmadge there pulling the same move that we see
Talked it into existence.
In front of you and forcing to that outside line. And like I said, if you got a teammate behind you, you can do that because you know you're going to have the help behind you to get that push to keep going. So
I guess I have to stay here. This is the safest line.
Get up front, dominate this field, and lead it to the end.
Right there, that's our top 24 drivers, all going to be within 2 seconds of one another. We got our second packet blossoming up from 25th place. That's where Drew Jew and a lot of wounded vehicles are kind of just survival mode engaged. You can see them here as Drew Jew, Christopher Norris.
Cody Reed in front of me. He just tried to go up the middle. I know he's an aggressive driver.
Waiting for a caution to get more damage repair.
We'll probably try it again.
It's not looking great to stay in the lead pack on the trap. Just 2 damage to do so. Up front, the top 24, they're still putting on a show, 2x2. But again, Richard, it's the question of who makes a mistake.
Really need to save fuel here.
Go 3 wide.
As best as possible.
That seems to be the catalyst to start the reaction of a caution blossoming. If who will make the mistake, who will force a mistake, I think it's going to be the big question as we're finishing lap 81 and get into these final stages of this race to prepare for maybe the final pit stop of the night.
Yeah, I think at this point the driver.
But I don't want to make a gap either.
Stay calm, just kind of run your race as it is. If you can make, like I said earlier, if you can make a move, make it, but try to do it safely and smartly. We still got a pit stop to make before the drivers can make it to the race. So just drive the race out, hit with your some allies, with your teammates. Make it a short stop as much as you can so you can be up front. And then you want to start making your moves. But right now, it definitely seems like they're all just kind of staying in line, taking it easy.
You have help behind you or no?
Making any moves or making any looks to go 3 wide. So
right now,
safe and calm is kind of the game right now.
It really does seem like it is. We have another driver adding to those calling it a night with the DNF. That's going to be Colby Carlo, who's going to be the number 22 machine. Brandon Wells with Zach will still sit in pit road. And if you've been in pit road for this long, you might have gotten the notification that you are done. And Zach Paul was already given that notification. Question for the 00 is their night officially over. Starting to see a little bit of a split up. Top 5 trying to pull away from the side-by-side action of Larry Yingling. His own trouble behind it. Steven Stippian in the 81 with the big slide off of turn number 2. He comes back up, trying to get back up to speed. Luckily doesn't get into that second pack, but a big slide and lots of time. Stippian was just hanging on the back half of this top group, and now Lowry back in 28th position.
Yeah, great save from Stippian, though. Not getting that car completely.
I was going to take that top
caution.
car behind me took it.
Track, keep it straight. I don't know if he's able to tag on to that group behind him.
I think tire wear is going to be a thing here.
At this point, so
After run 60, 70 laps on this bottom side, my tire's going to give out.
You've got another driver require damage, and it looks to be a blown engine. Douglas Newbegin's season starts off with a bang. 33rd place. He might lose a couple of more positions with those that are still racing out there on track that are going to pass him if they can keep their race centered. That is a tough blow for the 7 machine that was hoping that this season would have been his turnaround from bad luck that he's been dealing with. Not going to be the case, but up front, we're going to have a case of another big one. We're going 3 wide.
Somebody hit the wall.
And it's Joshua Canada trying to push the middle, and it's going to be Jared Talmadge left to the outside on his lonesome. Now Nick Crawford.
74 got pushed out somehow.
Here we go, Richard with a hold steady, or will we see another big one?
It kind of looked like Joshua Canada maybe got in the back of Nick Crawford, which kind of gave him a shove to the outside. But they're still keeping it clean. They're not really being overly aggressive with these moves right now. So they're keeping straight. Cars really aren't dark all over the place or wiggling. So we'll see if these guys decide to keep turning outside. They are. He's going to try to stick behind Christopher. That'd be Cedric Hunter there. That outside line looks like they're going to get that momentum, and that inside or that middle lane has kind of died again.
Too wide there.
Anticipated at this current moment, right? Where it's going to be the lone driver stuck in the middle, fading backwards as he's now 13th and expected to lose more time up front. Cedric Hunter, he wants to be the lead driver. Getting assistance from his teammate from the Snowy Desert Racing crew. Going to be Nick Crawford. As seeing Joshua Canada on the outside trying to hold steady, but it's Cedric Hunter. If you're watching the field, if you look at the stats, the driver that's won the most opening races in the WSSR, it is this 13 machine, and he's looking for another crown, but big wiggle and slide through 1 and 2. They lost all the momentum, but if the 13's up front, this is a scary spot for the rest of the field because you know he can get it done. He did back in season 9 here at this track. It's open a race winner. You'd love to get a second when you're in Atlanta.
Get up here. Yeah, expect Cedric Hunter, one of the strongest drivers in the opening race of the season. Being back up front, it definitely puts him in a spot to be able to do that. He's going to get a huge run from Joshua Canada there. Gets around. He's going to take the lead again as Joshua Canada lost some major speed trying to make some moves.
Kind of coming together.
It's just if you're trying to put big blocks, it looks like.
Did you enter on the back stretch like you're supposed to?
Nightmare Fuel been willing to put on drivers and forcing them backwards. I know Canada might trust the driver a little bit more because they race on Monday nights, but Canada's defensive driving to make sure that he keeps Vincent Sora behind him really checked up that outside lane, and now gives opportunity for Cedric Hunter to lead that outside group. And now Ken Campbell, big charge. Larry Yangling now going to be putting his hat in the picture. The 3-time champ is now closing in, but here's the scare. We got a bunch of lap traffic ahead of the field. Where will they go? Nico Garcia to the apron. He's going to be trying to stay out of the way. We got another cluster of lap cars.
Not sure why this bottom lane is pulling.
We'll catch up too.
Love to see
lap cars maybe
getting out of the way and even doing so and staying on the apron, leaving the racing surface for the cars that are racing on the late lap. Great work from those lap cars. You don't see that very often, but they did a smart move, stayed on the apron, let these guys by without causing any issues.
I'm gonna lose a lot of spots here. That sucks.
Cedric Hunter, Vincent Sora following through as well. Canada still trying to make moves. He is not happy with the amount of positions he's lost, and he's trying to get back up there.
Yeah, he's trying to find a way to just find footing. The biggest loser is Nick Crawford, though. I think he saw where Justin Malarkey was going to go a lap down, was running, and got concerned that the 73 was going to stay on the racing surface. He stayed high, let off the throttle, and just lost over 8 positions to make sure that if they did have to go 3 wide getting by a lap car, he was at least in line. They were.
I could have went to the outside there.
The respectful move. There's still a lot of racing left. You can get up front if you find the right friends and allies to push you forward. You love to see that type of a play. Thinking big.
Still not sure why this bottom lane is doing better.
Immediately.
Don't matter now.
A smart move by Nick Crawford, and sad he just got kind of shuffled back.
Oh no!
I think we go in and get fuel here.
Tossed around was the one machine as he's hard in the outside wall, and another caution flies.
Oh, not a good start or good.
We'll see what they do.
Race for
Anyone's coming
John
late back.
Forbes there. That's another incident. He's kind of getting
They think they can make it.
It's not a meatball, and he can get around. But again, just a situation of a checkup.
John,
this is whoa. That's the old wreck.
Yeah.
But yeah, just unfortunate to see John Forbes get involved in that wreck there.
Yeah, it's going to be the one machine of John Forbes, the 38 of Christopher Norris. They're going to be the ones that tag one another, as the one runs 27th currently. As looked like the drivers were 3 wide, trying to make some moves around one another. But it's one of those things, Richard, of drivers were stacking on top of one another. It looked to be a slight tag that pushed this one machine around.
Yeah, and that's kind of what happens with this kind of racing, though. Is just one little checkup is just a domino effect to everyone behind. But right now, it looks like Cody Reed on the inside with John Forbes there in the middle.
Yeah, we're going to see here. It's the middle. It's the middle where we're going to see that 38 of Christopher Norris in the white just comes flying in and just tags that left rear, gets him around, tosses him to the outside. And unfortunate for last season's champion.
Yeah, that very unfortunate. Kind of looked like Christopher Norris might have thought that Forbes was going to go high and stay high, but the outside line kind of broke down, and Norris just not slowed down enough, just slightly gets into that rear end of John Forbes and sends him around.
It's kind of, we talked about just slightly undercar commercial
That's
break.
That's like the third time we've drag raced off pit road
these
tonight.
moments are happening. It's hard to react when a driver makes that dark move to the down low, or you're assuming a moment's going to happen, it doesn't, and you put yourself in a bad spot. It's so tough to be able to make those quick snapping moves without just ruining your own race. As drivers at the time of this caution able to come into pit road and get service done. And Richard, if you're pitting now, which everyone has done, this is it. There are no other reasons really coming to pit road unless you feel like tires are that important later on in this race.
Yeah, I don't think tires are going to be that important, because that's going to be a lot of time lost on pit road that it's just not going to make it up. So tires are not going to be an issue for the rest of this race. It is, they're done in the pits. It is, fuel's going to be topped off. They're all going to be able to make it. I think the only time that we're going to see people on pit road again is either damage, or if we get
the engine shut off, can we get it back?
You know, maybe someone wants to take that chance with some fresh tires, but I don't see any more pit stops the rest of this race, even under caution.
Just saw pop up in the chat. Want to say thank you to Trophy Smack. Trophy Smack, one of our trophy providers here for the WSSR. They've been our providers since season 4. The few first couple of seasons that we had Trophy Smack, drivers were getting championship rings. Then we transferred over to custom championship trophies the drivers earn if you are the season champion for the WSSR VRS Cup Series. It has been awesome to see the partnership that has blossomed between these two groups. Trophy Smack, primarily known for fantasy sports trophies being made, but you can customize them to your own liking. They've got pre-made, custom-made championship trophies, belts, rings, and more that you can check out on their website. Head on over to trophysmack.com, and when purchasing, remember to use the promo code WSSR-SMACK at checkout for 10% off on your Trophy Smack purchase. Thank you so much for Trophy Smack for being one of the primary sponsors of the WSSR. Awesome to have them along with the Season 11 ride. We also want to say thank you to Sim Precision Prints. Head on over to simprecisionprints.shop and check out their wide selection of different items you can find yourself getting. Remember, when purchasing, go to WSSR. Use the promo code WSSR to get 10% off on your order of anything over $50. Thank you so much to Sim Precision Prints.
You're in third place.
Precision Prints. Performance delivered. Thank you so much to all the awesome sponsors tag along for this season. As green flag gets out, it's Larry Yingling and Joshua Kanata, the top two. We've seen some newcomers adding to the mixture. We got Brian McCann also up there in the 8 machine with his iconic split scheme of Dale Earnhardt Sr., Dale Earnhardt Jr., and he's trying to push this 67 to the top spot. Also seeing Drew Jula back into the mix for that 77 on our ticker 80 on track machine, and a couple of others wanting to get back for another chance. Richard, it looks good up front, but it's good to see some fresh faces go for a chance.
Yeah, some fresh faces back up front. Drew Jula being back up front after being involved in some wrecks as well. So good to see him back up there trying to race for the win. But yeah, that number 8 split scheme.
I'm never working with
John. Very good scheme for any cars out here. And he's doing a great job pushing and Larry Yingling in the front, keeping those two guys up front and in between airs. They're 3 wide again behind them. The aggression is not dropping. They are still wanting to take a 3 wide to make their moves up front.
And guess who's in the middle of all of it? It's Nightmare Fuel out from the outside, trying to get by Drew Jua, who forces him in the middle. And also in the middle is going to be Jared Talmadge, trying to push that 88 machine forward as much as he can. Again, front 88 on track, 77 on our ticker board. But up front, you're Larry Yingling with Ryan McCann. Stay in line. Larry Yingling knows how to get some good pace here. He took the pole last season here at Atlanta. He's going to try to stay up front as much as he can, but looking behind, you know, there's some drivers that have been itching and have an inkling that they might have a chance for this win. That's Cedric Hunter, the rookie, the 4 of Colin Carroll, would love to make a huge splash on his debut race here for the WSSR VRS Cup Series, but you can see that madness. It's the growth, it's the buildup. 3 wide and hold your breath. Will it go 4 or will they see a wreck, or can they keep it together? And looks like it's all space. The teammates rip the top. Sora, Talmadge, they make it work.
Canada looked like he got a little loose there, got squirrely, which kind of checked up that middle lane and forced Drew Jua to the outside. He's going to fall into the middle lane now if they're too wide. He's going to try to catch back up and get back up to where he was. But yeah, you got to, if you want to keep that momentum in that middle lane, you can't get squirrely like Canada did. But they kept it straight. No caution again. These guys are back to 2 wide racing. They go into 3-4.
Yeah, I'm going to be seeing that outside groove. It's Shane Terrian. Does he go low? Does he stay high? Staying on the outside of Nightmare Fuel. We'll see Terrian, Sora, Talmadge, and also end up seeing the additive driver of Andrew Edlin in the 12 machine trying to tag along. And we've had all race. And if you had a real life spotter, you've been given the knowledge of who's the fast drivers that got up front consistently. And it's been that 51 and the 27 that have constantly been getting up front all night long. You can say that John Forbes was doing well, but he's been caught up in so many wrecks. He's just staying attached to the tail end of this lead pack. Richard, with the fact that we've got ourselves 47 laps to go, there's still a lot of racing action. Where are you wanting to place yourself with each lap ticking away?
There's still a lot of racing.
We'll go on.
We compare these, you know, we compare this to like Daytona Talladega. But it is a full throttle drafting style track like those two. But the biggest difference also, this one doesn't have what those do. It's a mile shorter. It's only a mile and a half versus a 2.5 mile track. So they still have, I mean, 47 laps might seem like a long time and a lot of laps, but those are going to tick down really quick as these 30-second laps. These laps are ticking by really fast, and they have little time to make moves out there on the track as well. So, I mean, it's a.
He's going to pull backwards.
Extremely aggressive if you want to take it.
It's so tough from us up in the booth. We know, and the drivers know, we want to call out.
He needs to save fuel anyway, so that probably helps him.
First, it's so powerful in our hands because there's a few drivers. I'm looking at this lead pack we haven't really talked about.
He didn't take a full tank on pit.
You know, I'm going to risk it and say it. Cody Reed is inside of our top 10. He's now running 7. Samuel Garcia just inside our top 15. He still has a chance, and he wants to continue on solid starts. He had a great start to last season. He wants to carry some great momentum to start off season 11. And all their drivers, we got Pete Tartt, who's caught up in earlier wrecks. He's still in the fight. And John Forbes, he was involved with that last wreck. You can see the one there. He's still there with Christopher Norris, who spun him directly behind.
John Forbes is still in the path for the lead group here, but he does have damage on that right front still, so he's not going to be able to make moves in the front by himself. He has got to stay in the draft to be fast, and he is forcing the number 4 up to the wall, trying to keep him up there so he can stay in the draft. And he's got some help from Christopher Norris behind him. They're going to make the run to get around that number 4.
It looked like for the 4, he drove into turn 3, got extremely tight, just swooped right up to that outside wall, really lost all the momentum, and that could be a big blow for the rookie. The 4 of Colin Carroll's had a great evening, but they need to get in line and don't lose the track. It's up front, it's Vincent Sora, Jared Talmadge, the teammates. They stay in line. Andrew Medlin. I mean, they talk about bad luck. Medlin went on a streak of bad luck. It felt like for seasons on end. But the 12 runs in 3rd with Cody Reed now inside of the top 5. He doesn't want to call it quits on trying to go back-to-back on winning the opening race here for the WSSR. When it comes to super speedway races, this 25 just has a knack to be right there at the end.
Last season to open season 10, he could do it here again.
I mean, I'm just trying to avoid a wreck here, right?
For all of season 10, he was not going to run a full season, but when you lock yourself into the playoff, your mindset changes. That could be also a deciding factor here. He could be going for the win in that open season race, but we'll see if that changes his mindset so he can maintain and stay in that playoff race as well.
Seeing it bouncing and moving back and forth going on. Cody Reed now going to be leading that inside row with Shane Terry trying to give him the push. A lot of wiggling between the corner, but they finally get in line next to the corner. The 51 will lead this lap, but Cody Reed is feeling a lot more comfortable and confident. I know Cody Reed's dad usually watching these broadcasts. Lenny's got to be having a
I want to get to the top.
He wasn't really able to watch Cody Reed race.
But I also know within the last 10 laps, they're going to go.
SRC Cup Series. Some unfortunate moments.
They're going to go hard and probably cause another big wreck. So
the tone early and say I'm locked into the season 11 of the WSSR with one win. There's still 40, making now 39 laps to go. But Cody Reed leads that lap.
Reed doing a fantastic job as came from the back of the field and is leading this race with the help of Shane Terry behind him. But Nightmare Fuel is not making it easy. They are charging it out on the outside there as well, as they got teammates on the outside working together. So Cody Reed has got to get help from behind him. He doesn't have teammates really near him from behind as well.
Huge check up in the middle of the slight contact between the 40 machine of Pete Tart and the 13 of Cedric Hunter on the outside. And we're able to keep it together. But that slight wiggle checked up, losing ground for some of those drivers further on back in. Try not to lose the draft. Ryan Kelly luckily was able to keep his foot in the throttle, will not lose the draft for himself. But our top 21 drivers still attached to the draft, still trying to fight with a chance to win here this evening. A lot of racing going back and forth. Jared Talmadge, Vincent Sora, they're still trying to test their faith, test what big bumps they need to do to make sure they're the ones crossing the line at the end of this race. And, you know, with the fact that there's still about 38 more laps, 37 more laps to go. I mean, Richard, this is still plenty of time to test little moves that you want to make if you know you're going to be the lead drivers coming to the end of the line.
Yeah, it's a good time to test some moves. We saw a little bit of a moment there from before, got a little loose going to turn one, but able to keep it straight. Christopher Norris is going to fall in behind him, but Christopher Norris, he's got to find something to move back up unless he's playing it safe. So, but great save by the number 4. Yeah, these drivers, it's time to start testing something, seeing what you can do to make the moves, because you got to get up front. You want to win this race. You got to be the first car to cross that finish line. So, and if you're behind someone, Shane Terry looking at the middle there, I'm sure he was looking to do it there, but
is everybody checking up?
These drivers trying to make moves. They're 3 wide for them.
Don't check up. Go faster.
Stay low. Where we see Lucas and Caddy as well as Nico Garcia when they come off the exit of turn number 2. As we're taking a closer look at that 4 machine, the Dynaco blue by the 4 trying to make their way forward is Colin Carroll, who has already had a couple of moments during this green flag run. And each lap that ticks away, each time these drivers have to test their feet on their tires. Will it just randomly tighten up, or do they have the spacing to hold steady? I think that's the big question for these drivers, because 20 laps ago was the last time all the drivers expected to make their final pit stop. Some took tires, others just took fuel. Our top 5 all took tires. In between all this after drivers that just took fuel, and I think the tires are starting to show, and that's why we're seeing our top runners able to hold their lines so much cleaner than those in the middle.
That's what I was saying. The tire wear doesn't matter here after a while. You know, the fresh air tires are stick to the surface, be able to be a little balanced out, steady. But once those tires start wearing out, like I said, the car will get a little tight. It'll want to push up to the wall. It won't want to turn as easy. So they got to get out of the gas a little bit. That's what you see a lot of these checkups. A lot of these guys getting the bumpers of others, and a lot of the squirrely back and forth driving.
Still our top 21 drivers in this pack, all side by side. Trying to pick
Buckling is losing.
Time. think
right now.
Further deeper in this pack, you've got the likes of Ryan Kelly in 21st, John Morse Jr. in 20, and Ryan Bird in 19th.
That great car is all over the back of them.
Second pack, team led by Steve Stimpian, Ryan P. Johnson, David Medina, Christopher Wade, drivers that have been involved with multiple different incidences, just trying to stay attached, with also Major Morales. And those are your drivers in the second group. Having a little bit of a
Cody. I didn't feel like I even got to that hard.
That was Biggie, who was able to get his repairs done and back out on track. Who loves the fact that he's there. But we had a scare up front. Cody Reed, that bump for Vincent Sora in the middle of 3 and 4. He gets pushed to the middle, and he's heading backwards.
He got stuck in the center hole, and Campbell gets hit a little bit, gets smacked into the wall.
And there goes Garcia.
Oh, a couple cars into the wall there. That was Campbell. Heavy contact with the outside wall. He's going to lose this group in the front as well.
As well as Samuel Garcia, that's going to be losing the top point, and meatball flag has been given out to the 15. You can see that right front. It is scraping. It is tough to handle. And down into pit road goes Ken Campbell. His race is done as we stay green. That's tough to take, to deal with that type of situation when you were running so well all night long, and it just goes up in smoke with 30 laps to go. Now we're left with 19 drivers in this lead pack. It's now Shane Terrian and Vincent Sora that stay side by side as they exit out of 4.
Campbell, but the race for the lead is still heating up. Vincent Sora wants to have a strong start to his season and make it a lot easier for him to maintain and get into the playoffs. And starting off with this race, starting off the season with a win, that'll guarantee him the playoffs for the most part, as long as he can maintain top 20 in points. But he's definitely having a lot better start to his season here in season 11, leading and fighting for the lead in this race.
Now, at any moment, things can go awry, and that's why we keep our eyes on this top group. Also, all the other little small packs we have going on, there could be frustrations that mount up of why aren't we in line, why are we side by side, why aren't you being the pusher or not? It could cause drivers to have
I think Larry and the guys in front of me are pushing.
It's all about pushing and shoving. Who can they trust to get you moving?
Pushing up the track tight.
Drivers have those that they can trust, and they're trusting one another. As Vincent Sora, huge squeeze on Shane Terry, trying to hold back the pace by the 9 as they go through the corner, just showing the skill, showing the talent of all these drivers. This is one of the top leagues you could be racing in, and Richard, they're proving it right now with these moves.
Yeah, they're making some extremely aggressive moves, either maintain the lead, pull back that inside line, or even make the passes. And the skill level of all the drivers within this league is so amazing to watch. As that inside lane getting a run again, Shane Terry trying to get up this side of Vincent Sora again and fight for that lead. But that inside line is not giving up so easily. Is that 3 cars on the outside line? Breakaway for Canada. Canada's got a good run for the draft. It's going to be heads back up and you might have to come up.
And that from Terry go down, line up these bumpers, making a big run. Not spinning out the driver ahead of you, but assisting go faster, and every time you exit the corner, you're trusting the driver ahead of you is just going to stay consistent. The same person, you know where they're going to be, and as well for yourself, you're hoping to continue to hit the same marks, to continue to be where you want to line up as we continue to stay side by side all the way through these top 19 drivers, and they count down the laps. 25 to go. Going to be 24 when they cross the line. And Richard, if you're those drivers back outside of the top 15, if you're Christopher Norris, Ryan Bird, Tart, Forbes, Kelly, you might have the damage. Maybe you don't feel like you have the speed, but if you're going to have a chance for a better finish than where you run right now, you need to make the moves at this moment.
You need to make the moves, yes, but you also need to make it with somebody. You can't do it by yourself. You need the draft. You need to get behind someone who needs to push you. So they've got to make the friendships. They've got to make the alliances back here and try to communicate where they want to go, and hope that someone goes with it and pushes it forward and get them both moving forward to try to go for this opportunity.
Riding on board their driver on the outside, and that Storm Motorsports driver that is just trying to
How did he save that?
That he does belong. He's been having strong runs and track, but sometimes doesn't always get the finish that he feels like he deserves. Here tonight, he's fallen to the back. He's gone to the front. This Old Dominion machine just wants a solid finish. In a top 3 would honestly feel like a win with some of the best luck that the club has had. But if you can find a friend or an ally, but oh no, they're in trouble further behind in this lead pack. John Force, Christopher Norris, all getting a little bit of a spill, and it's John Force losing the draft. Also going to be Pete. Looks like
that was my opportunity to take high, but
light damage all around. Norris with some big.
On the flip side, 51 ain't gonna pull low.
Lose the draft.
So if I go high, I will be stuck in whatever position I'm in. Here, at least, maybe I have a chance. And plus, if they start racing hard,
15 drivers now attached to this track.
In wreck, I'll have exit.
Brad Delphi got stuck in the middle there and then shuffled back and tried to move up to get in front of Norris, but was not clear. And it got into Christopher Norris, but pushed him up against the wall, and everyone was kind of fantastic.
So I think I'm going to stay here.
Starting with Brad Delphi trying to put his car where he wasn't clear.
They are definitely going to start racing soon. Oh, I'm getting pulled backwards. No.
Strong run getting back up to the front of the field. But Nick Crawford taking it to the middle. With,
they got pulled hard.
They're going to try to make the move to go forward in the middle lane.
It's time to make some friends, time to make some allies, and maybe some enemies here late. 20 laps to go as Crawford, as well as Hunter, work as tandem from Snowy Desert Racing. They're trying to catch up to former ally members of Joshua Kanata back on their Monday night days.
You got somebody in front of you, Larry.
Forward, and currently it's just 5 drivers side by side up ahead. And Joshua Kanata, does he bounce low? Does he stay in the middle? The 16, not sure where to fully commit. He'll have to push through into the middle groove, but everyone's still stacked far enough further back. It is all going to be nightmare fuel on the outside group. They need to get some more help. But Andrew Medlin with the side drafting to 3 wide. He's losing pace. They look like a Christmas tree with how stacked they are. Here we go, Richard down into turn number 3. I'm getting nervous because these drivers look like they know it's time to make the big moves. But they all know 3 wide is such a dangerous place to be.
20 laps to go. The aggression is through the roof. They know it is time to start making moves. They can't wait any longer. And that's what this 3 wide racing is doing. You're seeing a lot of side drafting, a lot of shuffling back and forth, trying to find a place to go and what line's going faster. So
the push.
Throwing Medlin out to the outside there. Gavin Rogers going to be pushing Cedric Hunter in the middle lane there. They're going to try to catch up to the front of the field.
Tires are hot.
Medlin doesn't stick out there much longer because that's just going to slow that group down. They're not going to be able to make the move. But Medlin has got the draft of Kanata. Now was Nick Crawford. That middle lane starting to suffer a little bit. They're not able to get the run and clear these guys on the outside.
And in the middle of this pack, we really haven't talked a lot about Gavin Rogers is still in this fight. He's going to be lingering behind Cedric Hunter, and they're going to be with one another in this group. And a lot of drivers were searching for friends, searching for allies. Gavin Rogers was trying to find some friends to work with because he is teaming not sign up for this race. And you know, you try to make some alliances of, hey, if we're in the scenario late, could you work with me? I'll work with you. And it looks like it's all starting to line up. And Andrew Medlin, sadly for the 12, everyone that got by him, they've got friends. This 12, all of his allies are out of this race or further on back where they're not attached to this draft. That is a tough spot when you know you have so many alliance drivers around you and none of them are yours.
It's never fun to have nobody that you can work with. But I mean, now you just kind of, you gotta hope for a move that you can make and trust someone's gonna follow you, but it doesn't always work out because it's a big gamble. If you make the move to try
14 laps left,
because with you, you're gonna lose, or you're gonna gain. You know, you might have gained 1.
Now we're in the back of this pack,
but you're gonna lose 6 to 7, if not more. So it's a hard decision to make, and you gotta make them smartly and at the right time for them to succeed and be on your benefit.
Other drivers that are entering now into the top 5. You got the rookie number 4 machine, Colin Carroll. He's starting to move his way forward. Ryan Bird following right behind that 4 machine. You can see that second pack. They're trying their best to run down and catch up to the group ahead. The problem is they're just running too slow. Lap times to a 10th or 2 slower. They're losing ground on leader side. So you need to find some extra pace if you're able to. Top 16 drivers are in this lead pack. Their best to stay ahead. You see that second group. They're getting more drivers of those that have been pushed out from the lead pack. The problem, again, a lot of these drivers that are in that second group are so damaged, they just cannot get you moving. Up front, still Shane Terry and Vincent Soares side by side, but drivers outside of the top 10. You've got Andrew Medlin, Ryan Bird, Gavin Rogers, Brad Dell, Brian McCann, Larry Yingling, as well as Pete Tark going to be those other drivers outside looking in with 13, soon to be 12 laps to go. Everywhere you look, you try to find an opportunity to take someone's mistake and make it your opportunity.
That's one thing you got to look for. Once someone makes a mistake, you have to pounce on it instantly. So it's a lot of patience, a lot of waiting around, waiting for something to happen. But I think once we get under these 10 laps to go, like under 10 laps to go, the aggression's going to go even higher than it's been all race. These drivers, they're getting down to the last bit of this race, and they're running out of time to make moves. So a lot of these drivers in the back, they might decide to follow someone who decides to take it 3 wide, take it to the inside, take it to the outside, take it to the middle. They'll follow anybody they can to get as many positions as they can as they're getting on that time with just 11 laps to go in this race.
To make their way forward. You look at the past year at Atlanta, we've ran here 4 times on this configuration of this track. Season 5, Season 8, Season 9, and last season at Season 10. Of those 4 races, we've had to go to overtime twice. That was last season and Season 8. Overtime would always be a calling, and it seems like for the WSSR, there's always that lingering late caution with 20 to go. Back in those those days of Season 4 to 8, it felt like it was always going to happen of a late caution coming out. It was just going to spice things up. Here tonight, we talked about how the intensity is going to ramp up for this lead pack 16. We also know that those other packs that are growing, that second pack that's got 8, 9 drivers attached, they're also going to get a little bit of antsy knowing, okay, our attempts, our time to catch up is gone. It's about getting the best finish we can, and that's 18th, where Major currently runs, or 17th, where you find David Medina, where he runs currently.
I didn't want to check up and lose a draft on that side of the road.
You might not realize that you're out of time, but you want to get those extra places. You might just stick around behind everybody and just kind of maintain where you are, get the points that you've had, and kind of made your bed at this point. So it's an unfortunate situation for them. They got shuffled out of a line that they didn't want to get shuffled out of, but we still got some racing right here. Christopher Norris gets out of the way for this lead group, give a little bit of draft. Crawford, but he's going to stay on the track. He gets out to 72.
Norris took up some people.
Christopher Norris just wiping out the back half of the field. Oh no, Ryan Bird's broke. He gets back into Larry Yingling as the second pack drives on by. Calamity and late wreck. Well, we're not in overtime just yet, but we're gonna have a show here later on. Here is the incident and what went down. That's actually a different wreck that happened, but it was Christopher Norris in the 38 machine who found himself going a lap down. He was a broken machine. He currently is in 27th position and just was getting passed by the leaders and then just comes flying up the track. I don't know if something broke, if he went up there to just give a smash, because for Norris, if you remember, the reason he got pushed further back and lost the draft and got damaged was because of Brett's situation that kind of blasted into the wreck. Just wait and see here.
Yeah, it was a very odd situation there. We've seen all the lap cars kind of stay on the... It just looked like he got tight. The car just did not want to turn. Very odd situation there, but nothing egregious. It seemed to just the car didn't want to turn based on what we're seeing from Norris's car.
As we're going to see, his steering wheel's already broke. And it just never turned, it never slowed down. But at that point, you've already been running multiple laps. That's slow. You know what your car's going to do kind of at this point, that you have to slow down to make the corner. And it looks like for Norris, it just kept his foot in the throttle. Said, well, that's where my car's going.
Yeah, it kind of seemed like that, but we'll have to see any kind of ruling on that later down the road for next week. But very odd wreck, a very questionable situation there, because like I said, all the lap cars have been staying on the apron, letting this lead group by, but not this time. Norris stays on the track. The car just didn't return up into the Brad Delph, causing the caution. This is going to bring out some major drama now, as we've got 5 laps to go. This brings the entire field back together, but that second group, that is the thing they wanted to see. Caution, and brings them back into the front group to be able to challenge for this win.
And it's not everyone deciding, as we were looking at that replay, for pit road. Top going to be 8 drivers stayed out. They're going to be on 49 lap old tires. For Ryan Kelly, he just took 2 tires on his last stop. So his left sides are pert down at this point. Some drivers entered pit road, took 2 tires. That's going to be Drew Jua, Larry Brian McCann, 2-tire call for themselves. 12 on back, took 4 tires. That's Cedric Hunter, Gavin Rogers, Joshua Kanata, Cody Reed, as well as David Medina, Major, Sam Garcia, and many of others. But up front, those top 7 going to be led by Vincent Sora, Nick Crawford, Jared Talmadge, Shane Tarian, Andrew Medlin, Pete Tart, as well as going to be seeing Ryan Kelly and Christopher Wade. Richard, I mean, they're stacking up. They're getting ready to go racing here. But what a call to stay out, and what a call for those that are just taking 2 tires.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I don't understand the call to take tires here. I mean, it is a drafting style track. Yeah, I did say that tires do matter. They do get a little tight, but I don't see newer tires being that big of a difference to make the movements with just a few laps to go. But, I mean, I could eat my words here in just a couple of laps. We'll have to see what these drivers on the fresh tires can do. But I think for the top 4 to 8 drivers, they're pretty much set in stone of where they're going to, well, not necessarily top 8, but at least the front row is almost where they're going to finish.
Just got a comment in the chat by Shane Tarian saying, my hands are killing me. Again, the controller driver, only controller driver out on track. Again, he is steering with a joystick, and the throttles are in his trigger fingers. He's trying his best. Runs second car on the outside. Wants a chance to win. But it's going to be Vincent Sora and Nick Crawford, your lead drivers. It's going to be 4 laps to go. Do we need to head to overtime, or can we stay clean and green? It's time to find out as green flags back in the air. Race 1 for season 11 of the WSSR VRS Cup Series is back underway. And Richard, it's the inside lane. It's the teammates. They stay in line.
Got a push. And a great jump from Vincent Sora with 4 laps to go. Drew Jua making a big move on the outside. He's going to try to take a 3 wide. Next up, Brett Tart there in the 40 machine, number 35 on the ticker.
Whoa, Nick Crawford comes around. Crawford gets slung. They're colliding. It's another big one down into turn number 3. We're heading to overtime. And it's all Vincent Sora, Shane Tarian, and making
I got big damage.
Trying to just scamper their way through this madness.
Cody, I love you.
Another big wreck late in the race, and all the drivers that pit for tires just caused an issue for themselves because of the spin there in the turn 3.
I'm staying out.
But a lot of good drivers also getting through that wreck. So this is really shaking.
Major, supposed to let you by.
And it's a big move.
What are y'all idling at?
Away goes Nick Crawford. You're going to see there, Nick Crawford's going to dart to the inside. Vincent Sora pinches him. And there's just no
I got my positions back too.
The nose of the 27 of Jared Talmadge. And that's the same move that Crawford's been watching both Vincent Sora and Jared Talmadge make. And
I don't know how it's going to drive, but I'm here.
We'll take you with me instead. And that is a big wreck for a lot of drivers.
Yeah, Nick Crawford definitely trying to do the same move that Nightmare Fuel's been doing, but they denied that.
I had a car on top of me.
Direct for the rest of the field. Unfortunate to see a lot of fast drivers involved with that. A lot of tires that are just not spinning due to toe links broke. Man, that's going to be the end of a lot of those drivers' races now.
Here is a long laundry list of drivers with required damage.
My toe's knocked out, but my motor's fine.
Jared Talmadge, Andrew Medlin, going to be joining the ranks of Ryan Bird, Chris Stitz, Kent Campbell, and Zach Hall, who all still sit in pit road with required damage. And with this wreck,
the top 2 went up to the 3rd lane and blocked us. We were pulling on that top lane.
And everyone else just hoping to salvage something by the end of today. And that is
me and Drew was going to drive to the front
tonight. As we've got ourselves up front, going to be singing Vincent Sora-Shantarian. They stay up ahead. Drew Jua, who decided to take just 2 tires on the last pit stop. He's going to be 3rd driver in line. Ryan Kelly on old tires. Then everyone from 5th on back going to have 4 freshies as they get ready to take off and go. But man, what a charge has been. What a big moves we're taking. And for Vincent Sora, what teammates are left? Because they're all gone at this point.
Yeah, you lost a lot of teammates in that. Now it's going to be hard to make the moves you were making earlier, but it's going to be a mad dash to the checkered flag now. There's a lot of fast cars here in the front as expected, but the fresh
Do you have tires?
Might show up and show out now. Drew Jua,
Larry's going to be much faster than you.
The newest set of tires, even though only 2.
Yeah, me and Drew were so much faster.
Very useful and smart tactic.
Like Larry's going to be in front of you if he's got a clear lane by turn 3, 4.
Win this race.
And there are a lot of drivers that are damaged that are going to be on the inside.
If he has a pusher, and I'm sure the guy behind him's got tires too, so yeah.
On the inside, Drew Jewett, he's got some front left damage he's dealing with. Major front left damage for the 8 machine of Brian McCann.
Yeah, because we're wide open, and I think they're having a lift or something.
6th on back to 7th or 8th on
You need
back.
a dog. I'm sorry.
On this restart. There's no more reasons to go to the pits at this point. You made you guys going to lay in it, as this is our first attempt at overtime. It's quite simple.
We wasn't cracking.
Green, white checker. It's going to be 2 laps to go when we go green. If we take the white flag, this race is official. Whoever crosses the line first wins this race. But if we get a caution for this first lap that we go green on, we'll head into second attempt of overtime. We've got 3 attempts if needed. Buckle your seatbelts. Crank up.
Hope my car drives right.
It is time for your season 11 race 1 to come to its conclusion. Will this be the last restart, or do we need another attempt? Vincent Soar's been up front all night long. They can't hold that top spot as pace cars in the pit road. We enter the restart zone, and overtime number 1 is underway as Vincent Sora, Drew Jua try to take off and go, but that outside row is where I feel the most comfortable.
I got damage.
Speed. Richard, that's where
Larry, I got damage if you're behind me.
Going quickly now if they want to take that top spot.
Yeah, they've got to get up to speed fast, but those cars with the damage, they're going to hinder a lot of speed for the inside lane. Joshua Cannon understands that he tried to look up high, but no, Gavin Rogers is going to be there. Gavin Rogers now going to get around Brian McCann. He's going to try to get around the damaged cars as well. Going to make moves. He's going to be just outside the top 5 as well. But we've got Vincent Sora still leading as they
come on. Do they get the lead?
Holy cow.
They stay green. This is it. They're 3-1 for the lead position. It's Larry Engling taking the top spot. Behind him will be finding some assistance from Joshua Canada. Vincent Sora runs no allies. He'll fall to the back. It's going to be 4 drivers ahead. Yangling, also going to be Canada, Drew Jua, Cody Reed. Where do you go for this top position? It's all going to be Yangling for now. Canada's trying to make a move to the outside room. They're going to be side by side off the exit of the corner. They beat, they bang. It's Canada winning in Atlanta.
Joshua Canada makes a staple at season 11 and takes the win here in Atlanta away from Larry Yingling.
17th.
Fantastic work from Joshua Canada to finish this race out on top.
He did every move possible in getting by one of the best. Larry Yingling only could just sit and wait as Canada side-drafted, took the momentum, and victory calls for the 16 machine. Yingling will take second, Drew Jewell will take third, Cody Reed, Fortune, Terry, and fifth, but it's all the 16. Oh, what a move. He was up front for most of the night, found all the ways the drivers were making passes, and he had to do it all on his own. Richard, I mean, that was one thing we were talking about. You needed an ally, you needed a friend. Josh said, I'll do it on my lonesome, and he'll take the victory here tonight at Atlanta. Congratulations to the 16 machine. What a way to start out.
Oh, 16 side drafting.
Step away. When we come back, we have the post-race show. We'll talk to Joshua Canada, Larry Yingling, Drew Jua, a spotlight driver, right after this.
I actually wasn't even able to make contact. It net-coded me up into Ryan, and then it net-coded him off of Ryan's front bumper. I'm talking about like on the front stretch at the start and finish line.
Oh yeah, no, I was getting like, I was getting pushed by Gavin, and then all I see behind me is you drive up into him, but it was pretty delicious net-code.
Yeah.
Look at my nose on that car. No wonder. Ugh.
Lost a shot twin because of fucking netcode. That's great.
One car just hits me. And then they wreck. Good thing I saw that. I saw and heard it out my right side. .41 came down. Ah, 17th, not the best. Y'all have a good one. I think I was involved in every wreck here, so let's go back. No, I wasn't involved in that one. Where was the first big wreck? Oh, no, that's not stage. I threw the stage at 30. Maybe it's here. No.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the WSSR VRS Cup Series Season 11, Race 1. What a run there late. Our third out of 5 Atlanta races that had to go to overtime. I don't think that was the first one. And it was a last lap, last corner pass coming to the front stretch where the 16 had to do everything in his power by himself to get by the 3-time champ and gets it done at the end of the day. Josh, it's Sam and Richard up in the booth. You got us?
Yes, sir.
I mean, you had to make the move. You were there all night long, leading laps, leading lines, but you had to make the pass there late. How are you feeling coming away and being a WSSR VRS Cup Series winner?
Oh, my throat hurts. I was just yelling so loud. My teammates probably blew their ears out, but oh my God, I was just hoping we were going to be in position at the end and hope something went our way. And I got a huge push from Cedric off of
No, I didn't get hit there.
Flag, and
thought I did. It's just going over that transition about
to the apron, and we're gonna hope for the best. And I got lucky during one of these things finally, but I figured it was one of our only chances to get a win this year, so might as well make the most of it.
Oh, my left rear tire come off the ground.
Joshua, I mean, we saw your growth you had last season as well. You know, a lot of pretty decent runs near the end of the season, but to finally cap it off and start season 11 with a win, not having a lot of teammates up front. I mean, how hard was it to make the decisions on when to move and make the passes that you had to make?
I mean, on those last 2 restarts, I was just hoping to get to the bottom because I figured
those 3-wheeling.
You know, a few guys that stayed out, you know, towards the end of that long run, we were all pushing up to the highlight. So I figured get down to the bottom as quick as we can because they're probably going to get shoved up whether they really want to or not. Because that pit stop before, I think I took only left sides and I was really struggling, but I was just hoping that maybe the lane would clear.
So that was one. That's lap 58.
I don't know. I'll be honest. I don't really know how that happened, but just got right place, right time, and that's really about it.
I mean, Josh, like we said, I mean, we've seen you grow as a driver these last couple of seasons. You made it to the finals at times. Last season, you had a chance for a win, but gave it to Jared Talmadge. How does this one feel on the fact that we've seen you win on Monday nights? Now you're winning here on Wednesdays. How much does this win mean for yourself as a driver that we've covered here at Freaking Fast Broadcasting?
It's everything. I mean, this is the most competitive league I have ever been in any game, any league, any car, doesn't matter. You know, these guys are bringing it every single week. And, you know, even at plate tracks, you know, you'll see those same couple of guys keep riding to the front. You know, I mean, I know Vincent was up there for a good chunk of the race. I know Larry was up there a lot, Drew. You know, all these guys that are, you know, constantly top 5 winning races. And so to, you know, finally to be able to, you know, get into victory lane, it definitely means a lot. I'm hoping this will be the
Maybe
started
this is
something, but just gonna take it race by race, but we're gonna enjoy this one for a while.
Yeah, this is
I'd
it.
imagine you got some people you want to thank. So the floor is now yours, John, for anyone else who would like to shout out.
First off, as always, thank you to you guys for putting on a good show. I hope we put on a good one for a season.
Where they were 4 wide.
Everybody who's watching, we always, we can't do it without you guys. Obviously, my teammates, they helped me a lot during the race, and it's a shame a few of them got kind of caught up there at the end, but just happy to be here. So thank you to everybody involved with this league, and fingers crossed this won't be the only time you hear from me this season.
Well, that will be your WSSR VRS Cup Series Season 11 opener winner, the number 16 of Joshua Kanata, taking the Atlanta win. Josh, congratulations on this victory, and good luck next week at Rockingham.
Thank you, guys.
That's going to be from Victory Lane. We go to second place, the driver who attempted to try to keep that top spot. He'll come away second here tonight. It's Larry Yingling in that 67 machine. Larry, it's Sam and Richard up in the booth. You got us?
Yes, sir.
I mean, Larry, you were up front battling at times. You were dealing with some slight damage for yourself. What was going on through your head there in that final restart, trying to go for that win late?
Well, I knew I was the first. I'm pretty sure I was the first guy up top with new tires. So I was hoping maybe the first 4 or 5, whatever, would get trapped on the bottom. I can make it 3 wide up top. But then it just, kind of broke up top. So I went down low, behind the can, pushed my teammate, and he immediately told me he had too much damage. So that's when I pulled back up, and that gave me a big run to Drew. Then I was going to stay committed to him. But then he and Vinny made, I think, a little contact, and that kind of slowed their momentum. Then I just went left and immediately took the lead entering 1, and I knew it definitely wasn't over then. I didn't know if Josh behind me had a pusher or anything, but I knew he would get a pretty big run. I kind of wish I blocked a little bit more off of forward, but I was
Larry got behind me.
I'll just block us both.
I told him, get out from behind me. I'm hurt.
Chance, so I definitely glad I got second after avoiding a couple big wrecks.
You did a great job.
Yeah, you did a fantastic job dodging a lot of those big wrecks, getting out of there clean. And that last coming out of turn 4, even it looked like you had that win, but were you expecting Joshua Kanata to be able to make that move that he did to get that side draft just enough to get around you?
He had that momentum, didn't he?
I didn't know if he was getting pushed, but I knew where he was. It would start packing air on my right rear, and he would get a big run. And the way we were both pointed, I was afraid if I just start turning right, then I'm going to go straight into the wall like he did.
I mean, overall, though, Larry, it's still a great start for your season. I know we got a lot of different racetracks ahead of us. We're heading to Rockingham, Dover, Texas. How does this start of a race of the season feel like you're preparing you for these upcoming races?
Those guys with old tires, they were just sitting ducks.
Definitely glad I got top.
Like that 51.
Got some good race points. Next week, I'm pretty sure is Rockingham, and I've raced there handful of times.
Old tires.
I either run really good, and something bad luck just wipes me out, or I just run.
All he could do was block.
So one day, hopefully, I finish really good there. And Dover, I struggled last season. I think a lot of people did. So I'm definitely glad I came out here with some good points.
Well, it was awesome to watch you perform here tonight.
All right, I'm